Donald Trump has a history of racism himself.
No, that's not true.
Are you kidding me? He led a 5.5-year campaign against Barack Obama for allegedly not having an accurate birth certificate. Donald Trump came in office talking about he was going to ban Muslims. In the 1970s, he was sued for housing discrimination. In 1989, he was a part of he was led the lynch mob against the Central Park Five. In the 1990s, he was sued by casino workers for racial discrimination.
I want to jump into a CNN panel discussing Donald Trump's racism and largely the bigotry within MAGA, so if you can, take a moment, leave us a like on the video, it helps us out a ton. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, and let's get right to the breakdown.
Donald Trump has a history of racism himself.
No, that's not true.
Are you kidding me?
Sorry,
Donald Trump started his career with racism. In the 1970s, he was sued for housing discrimination. In 1989, he was a part of he was led the lynch mob against the Central Park Five. In the 1990s, he was sued by casino workers for racial discrimination. He led a 5.5-year campaign against Barack Obama for allegedly not having an accurate birth certificate. Donald Trump came in office talking about he was going to ban Muslims, and he was called Mexicans were supposedly bringing drugs.
He has the most multiracial
Donald Trump has a long history. You didn't deny anything of the things I just said. Donald Trump just this year said that he's allowing white South Africans to come to the United States, but not black South Africans.
What could be more racist than that? Why did the majority of Latino men...
I mean, this is like the political version of a white kid saying the N-word at the playground and then going, oh, but my cousin is black. Like, there's no answer for Donald Trump's racism from her because there's no answer for Donald Trump's racism. It's vile, it's obvious, it's undeniable, and it's enabled by every single MAGA clown who decided it was worth their tax cuts. That's why they scramble for justifications, and those tax cuts predominantly go to the wealthy anyway, so great job, MAGA, you fell for it again. MAGA does not condemn this behavior simply because they're comfortable with it, right? That's a sad truth I think the left has to reckon with. Everyone on the right in today's America is either openly racist, subconsciously racist, or willing to ignore racism all throughout their party and holding the levers of power, which is in turn racist, right? To be anything but anti-racist vehemently is racist. And I've said that time and time again, and I'll say it again and again. And there is a reason why not a single prominent Republican will condemn these insanely disgusting and racist group chats or Trump's past racist behaviors that have been getting out more and more frequently, including again, a Trump administration pick saying what MLK Day should go to hell or whatever it was, because they're comfortable with this kind of language and behavior. Look at how they treat Charlie Kirk.
When this war began, Crimea was part of Russia. Ukraine was not part of NATO. And the Donbas region, Ukraine, Donetsk and Luhansk were independent republics. There was a civil war there. They were not part of Ukraine. And the idea that this ends and that territory that when this began,
there was a Russian-backed insurgency to take control of Ukraine.
That's just that's never going to happen. And everybody knows that. So this will never end when everyone's living in a fictional world.
I just want to say this is like an insane level of mask off Russian propaganda. Like at every level of what she said. The war started in 2014 when Russia invaded Ukraine and Crimea. Crimea is not part of Russia because they invaded them. It's under illegal occupation and annexation. These independent republics that she speaks of in the Donetsk and the Luhansk were from Russia-backed groups, financed by Russia, armed by Russia, given intelligence support by Russia, and they were Russians who went in after Crimea was seized and took over government buildings in these regions by force. They were never recognized by Ukraine, the UN, EU, or the US, or even Russia at the time publicly. And again, Ukraine's never shown any support for these groups. They don't even poll favorably among Ukrainians. This is just straight up Kremlin talking points coming out of the mouth of a MAGA commentator. This should be alarming to everyone.
And the return to the manufacturing, I mean, that is basically the entire point of the tariff agenda is the reshoring of manufacturing. Obviously, it doesn't happen overnight, but he has definitely put a lot of energy into trying to make that happen.
Give me an example of a single country that has built up manufacturing through tariffs alone. Has any country ever done that?
I mean, is any country like America comparable to America? Have the American workforce, have the American drive?
So you're thinking just tariffs, and all of a sudden we're going to get manufacturing back? Manufacturing is declining. No, it's not. Manufacturing investment was at an all-time high under Biden and has plummeted under Trump. Because guess what? When you want to build a factory, it is accurate. When you want to build a factory, you have to import parts from other parts of the world to build those factories. Manufacturing investment has plummeted under Trump.
Yeah, it's just not at all true what she's saying. Manufacturing construction spending has spiked down under Trump, right? Investment in general is down under Trump. Where at Biden, it did reach an all-time high because what drives manufacturing is incentives and investment projects, not tariffs, of which Biden signed massively into law. Tariffs alone do not create manufacturing, and we don't have to argue that it magically will in America anymore because we've seen the results after months of doing so. And no, there is not some magic tariff switch that magically flips and turns everything good if we wait long enough with the tariffs. That's not how economics works, which is why all economists said this was going to be a massive fail and that exactly what would happen, and then it happened. But MAGA decided to trust Trump over the experts because, like, I don't know, higher education is woke and a failure or whatever they go with nowadays. And look at how that got them and America's economy and us destroyed. But at least trans girls can't play in badminton and the rich got handouts. I'm sure MAGA can live on that one for another 4 years.